Any man who rejects Christ is rejecting a fact proved perhaps more absolutely than any other fact in the world.
Who is Jesus Christ?
I have no idea.
You ever thought about it?
A little bit.
What'd you come up with?
He's a person that people look up to. He's their God, I guess.
Is he a god to you?
No, he's not.
He's probably a pretty nice guy, but people probably made stories about him a lot bigger, and everyone believes he's a god.
God's son.
Why do you believe that?
That's what I was taught in Sunday school.
Is there any reason to believe that as an adult?
No, I don't really know if I believe it or not, until somebody proves it, I guess.
I love the comment by that last woman in the video. She's not going to believe anything till somebody can give her some evidence, till she has some proof, till she has some real reasons for believing that Jesus Christ is who he claimed to be.
Now think of what the Bible claims to be. It's a message written by the Creator to his creation. The question is, how does the Creator authenticate his message? How does he prove to a creation that he is indeed the one sending the message? Well, the primary way he's chosen to do that is to tell us the future before it happens. He will prove that he's the only true eternal creator because he can do what no one else can.
It has been said that as much as 30% of this book, the Bible, is prophecy.
Now that's unique. Absolutely unique. You will not find prophecy in the Quran. You will not find prophecy in the Hindu Vedas, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the writings of Mary Baker Eddy, the Book of Mormon, the sayings of Buddha or Confucius.
This separates the Bible from every other book. That's the proof. It's the signature of God on the Bible. For the essence of prophecy is to give a clear witness to Jesus. There were 33 prophecies fulfilled in the final 24 hours of the life of Jesus. Now that's staggering. But Jesus not only fulfilled prophecy, but he foretold prophecy. Jesus predicted his own death. He even predicted the day he would die. Jesus predicted the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. And Jesus said that this message about him would become a worldwide message. It would be preached in the entire world. Now you think Jesus was saying these things when he had, 12 ragtag followers there and the people were getting ready to crucify him. I mean, these are bold prophecies.
For example, Jesus himself said on multiple occasions, "And now I have told you before it comes to pass, that when it is come to pass, you might believe." In other words, he tells us in advance. The evidence that Scripture gives that Jesus of Nazareth is the Messiah is prophecy.
The Old Testament, written over a 1,000-year period, contains nearly 300 references to the coming Messiah, and all of these were fulfilled in Jesus Christ.
How do you know what's true is really true?
That's where the evidence comes in.
Evidence? Who needs evidence? All you need is to believe in what I believe.
But believing doesn't make what you believe true. And if it's not true, what you believe can't be real. Can't be real.
We're talking about proofs and evidence here. One of the things about evidence is probability. It's just a matter of simple math. Historians agree that the evidence does indicate that Jesus fulfilled all of the prophecies about the life, death, and resurrection of the Messiah. That's several hundred prophecies, including dozens over which he could have no control. What are the odds on that?
When it comes to the prophecies of Jesus, one of the most remarkable things is what takes place when you take those prophecies of Jesus and you work them out mathematically. Now, there has been a mathematician who's done that. Peter Stoner, famous mathematician, went in, looked at how many prophecies there were, 300 prophecies. And then as he broke down those prophecies, he said, let me just take 8 of them and figure out what's the likelihood of 8 of these prophecies being fulfilled in one person's life.
Do you know what the probability factor is of only 8 prophecies being fulfilled in Jesus?
No.
1 in 10 to the 17th power.
1 in 10 to the 17th power. Huh?
That's 1 in 10 to this many times.
I don't get it.
If you were to take 10 to the 17th power Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies,
How many?
that's over a quintillion cookies, and spread them across the state of Texas,
Yeehaw!
they would cover every inch of the state and form a pile of Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies 2 feet deep.
That's a lot of Thin Mints.
A whole lot of Thin Mints.
Now take 1 more Thin Mint and lick all the chocolate off, toss it into that pile, and stir the whole thing up. Blindfold yourself, walk the entire state from Amarillo to Laredo, stopping just once to stoop down and pick a single blind Thin Mint cookie.
Got it.
Take off the blindfold.
Aw, nuts.
The chances of you picking the chocolateless cookie is the same as the chance that one person could have fulfilled just 8 prophecies about Jesus in one lifetime.
That's crazy.
It's unthinkable. But Jesus Christ did not fulfill 8 prophecies in one lifetime.
Whoa.
He fulfilled over 300.
300, girl.
Whoa.
Born in Bethlehem, riding a donkey, presenting himself king on a donkey for 30 pieces of silver. The transaction occurs in the temple, ends up with a potter and all that. There were wounds in his hands, his no defense, though innocent. Died with the wicked, made his grave with the rich, crucified. The question now is, what's the probability that a particular person fulfilled all 8 of these?
Now, not only that, but he went further and he said, all right, let me see if I take 48 of these.
48 out of the 300. Okay, what's the probability that one man in the history of the world could fulfill just 48 of these prophecies?
And they just ran the numbers, and what they determined is that the odds of any human being fulfilling 48 of these ancient prophecies would be 1 chance in a trillion. And
the number was a staggering 1 man out of 1 with 157 zeros after it. That number is so big, just to give you an idea, scientists have determined that there are only 1 with 80 zeros after it, atoms, in the entire universe. That's not just our planet or our solar system or our galaxy, but the entire universe only has 1 with 80 zeros after it.
There's not even enough atoms in the universe in order to hold that number. Now, this answers the question about some people say, well, maybe a lot of people have met these prophecies. Maybe it's not just, Jesus, that you could have a whole bunch of people who meet all of these prophecies. But that's just not possible. What you've got in here is you've got something so remarkable that the whole universe can hold it. In fact, this is what Peter Stoner said. He said, any man who rejects Christ as the Son of God is rejecting a fact proved perhaps more absolutely than any other fact in the world.
It's one thing to analyze a number of prophecies that specifically talk about the life and character of Christ, but what if there was a prophecy that made all of these other prophecies date sensitive? Meaning, what if there was a prophecy that specifically told us when all of these prophecies would have to be fulfilled? That prophecy we find in Daniel chapter 9.
What has to be the most astonishing, the most amazing passage in the entire Bible. And that's in Daniel chapter 9.
Here in Daniel chapter 9, we are given a fascinating prophecy hundreds of years before the time of Jesus that pinpoints the exact time of when the Messiah would be anointed.
It's about 500 years before the time of Christ. The prophet Daniel is in captivity in Babylon, and the angel Gabriel brings him a message from the Creator. He tells him that the order is soon going to come forth, ordering the rebuilding of Jerusalem. And then he tells him that exactly 483 years from that day, the day that the commandment is given, the Messiah will present himself to Israel.
The way it works is like this. There are 490 years. We need to find the starting point.
The beginning date of the 70-week prophecy is obviously 457 BC.
All right, if you take 457 BC, and now you come forward 483 years, what do you get? 27 AD. As the time when, according to Daniel 9, the Messiah would come.
And if you go from March the 5th of 444 BC, when a decree was made to restore Jerusalem by Artaxerxes Longimanus, till March the 30th of AD 33, the day Jesus rides into Jerusalem for his triumphal entry, it's 173,880 days. Now, I call that the greatest prophecy that's ever been given. I mean, you talk about detail. Someone says, well, I'm not really sure if the Bible's true or not. 173,880 days to the day.
What was Gabriel's margin for error? 0. Right on the money.
Why is Bible prophecy important now? Why is it important in our lives now? And for every time the first coming of Christ is mentioned in the Bible, the second coming is mentioned 8 times. And Revelation 1:3 says this, it's a beatitude or a blessing.
It's the only book in the Bible that has a blessing attached to those who hear it, those who read it, and those who heed the things that are written there.
The coming 4 blood moons.
A blood moon is a full lunar eclipse, and 4 of them in a row is called a tetrad. 4 blood moons on the Jewish high holy days has happened only 3 times in the last 500 years. And so the next time it occurs actually is starting next spring.
Starts April the 15th, 2014, next spring. And the concept that these 4 blood moons happen on a high holiday 4 times in a row with a solar eclipse in the middle is beyond the null hypothesis of probability.
I'm going to try to show you the importance of prophecy. It's the foundation of everything. Most prophecy has already been fulfilled. And it is absolutely unique to this book, the Bible.